Hello everybody, and welcome to the Body Wisdom 360 Heart Talk. I do not speak HR language very well. I tried, but it never really reached. I wasted a lot of time trying to fit in, and that's how the Body Wisdom Heart Talk really is born. And at Body Wisdom 360, I want to quickly in the beginning share a little bit about what I do, what we do as a team. And later on, the team will join, and we talk a little bit about what's actually really happening in everyday corporate life. And so, Body Wisdom at Body Wisdom 360, we offer the most hands-on group coaching experience out there, and it is for people who struggle with managing stress, expectations, and overwhelm. Between me and my colleagues today, we are trained in coactive. I have to switch off my do not disturb. I forgot that. And so, between us today here in this talk, my team will join later. We are trained in coactive coaching, EMCC, executive coaching, positive intelligence coaching, rapid transformational therapy, and rapid transformational coaching. And that means that whatever your style is, whatever your needs are, we use the most effective scientific tools and our many years of experience in leadership and life to meet you where you are and guide you back to clarity, health, and balance. We are here to hold your hand and to show you without overwhelm how very short and easy steps applied consistently bring you back to where you want to be. It's online, one-on-one, or in safe groups of 10. And for the price, no other coaching program delivers this level of content and support. I thought I switched on my noise reduction, but somehow still something pops up. I'm very sorry for that, but let's ignore it. So if you like this talk and you can reach out to me after you watched it, and give me the code BW360XYZ, and you get a 20% discount off our 3 months one-on-one coaching program at USD 1,999. This investment is designed to bring you back to clarity, health, and balance. But first, I want to bring a real story from a client of mine who came to me totally exhausted and said, I want to handle stress better. But everything I've tried either takes too much time or it doesn't last. Please help me. He was desperate. And that's where our work began. And you'll see how the problem he faced is the same, or are the same ones that many of you are facing too. And we step by step transformed his situation and how he feels from being desperate to clarity and to courage and to confidence again. So here's Martin's story. But before I share it, let me explain how we work with people who come to us. I think I almost forgot to talk about that. How do we work with people who come to us? Is very simple. We create peace. P stands for the problem. We look it straight in the eyes. E stands for empathy. Trust me, we've been there, we get it, and we dug ourselves out with what we preach so that we get back on track. A stands for answer. We offer you solutions that really work for you individually, because everyone is different. Everybody is different. Not all methods which are available might be suitable for you. And C stands for change. That's the shift that happens when you put your knowledge into consistent action. And E stands for end result. Sustainable, clarity, health, and balance. That's what we deliver. But now let me share Martin's story. So Martin is 55. He runs a service business with 44 employees. On paper, and when you meet him, he looks successful. He is charming, handsome, socially brilliant. He is motivated, a real entrepreneur. But when he came to me, this is what he said. Claudia, I want to handle stress better, but everything I've tried either takes too much time or it doesn't work. The truth is, I talk a lot about The Body Keeps Score, a book I love from Bessel van der Kolk. And the truth is that his body has already shut him down when he came to me. He had a Baker cyst behind his right knee, and it ruptured, and the fluid leaked into his calf. His calf became bigger and bigger. There was a super big scare of thrombosis and so on. And so this is where this was an additional that actually happened a week after we started. And so there was a lot of additional stress on his plate. And yeah, so he literally couldn't walk anymore at that point. And yeah, the body keeps score, and it will, if we ignore what our bodies are telling us, or if he has ignored what his body was telling him. And the signal was very clear. He literally couldn't move forward anymore. And I've seen this so many times, and this is my own story too. The body stopped me from moving forward in life because I was repeating old patterns that simply didn't serve me. So, and then back to Martin, and then his office, another battlefield. He told me he can't cope with all the expectations anymore. He's expected to be politically correct, gender correct, always correct, and he is scared of saying the wrong thing. That's already a form of disconnection. And once he asked an employee about something about his family. He really tried to engage and to, and then he was told that is none of your business. So the employee felt that he overstepped his line by asking, hey, what's going on at home and how are you? The intention was really good. The outcome was, painful. Yeah. And connection is the most important part of any business or well-being or success strategy. Connection, interaction is what makes us feel safe, and we need to feel safe in order to perform well and to feel well and to, motivate and create business and so on. So Martin feels that everyone is unengaged, every decision is on his shoulder, and at home it wasn't much better. His wife and daughter felt he wasn't really there. He came home empty. Stress had stolen him his joy and his business joy. What he because he loves what he does, but it became a burden, and also his health and his family situation was not good. And I get it. We all get it. We've been there, or many of us have been there. And approaching this case, Martin's case, through positive intelligence, this is what we've done very much in the beginning, made us realize that Martin is a controller as well. His personality, his subconscious, runs on a controller belief and action system. And I better do everything myself. At least I know it's done, and it's done correctly. And but the truth for controllers is, if we look into positive intelligence coaching, which has been tried and tested with over 1 million people, and it's always hits the nail on the head. The truth for a controller is that people either follow you reluctantly or they leave after a while. And when you are a controller, you're not riding the waves of life. You're not riding the waves of your everyday business. You're pushing against them. And if you're a controller, maybe this resonates with you. And this not riding the waves, this pushing against the waves, it's costing you so much energy. It's so draining. And I know that because I've done this myself, and I have been shouting at staff for, like not doing things like exactly the way I wanted it. I'm a perfectionist as well. And controller and perfectionist, when controller and perfectionist are running the show, oh my God, it can really push you to your limits. And so I've been shouting at staff, and I believed that because I believed I was right. And I wondered why they left. But being right doesn't mean that you're leading. I had to learn that as well. And when you live like that all day, pushing, controlling, stressed out, when you walk through the door at night, there's nothing left. When you walk through your home, your entrance door at night, there's nothing left. Your wife or your husband still wants a partner, your child still wants a father or a mother, but you have not much energy left to give what they want. And so the cycle, the spiral just drags you deeper at the end of the day. And that's where Martin was. So what's the answer? The answer is not another app or another workshop. The answer is not another retreat, not another motivational talk, because none of this stuff lasts. The answer is, and Martin already tried all this, so he spent a lot of money on all sorts of things trying to find something for him that, he doesn't have to bother somebody else to help him through. So he's tried a lot of things, and he tried breathing, which is one of my core modules in Body Wisdom 360. And then he said, hey, I can't do this breathing you're talking about, 4 in, 6 out. So to extend the out breath to calm your nervous system. And he said, every time I do it, I fall asleep. And that told me that his nervous system is so overused, so stressed out, so non-functioning, that it grabs every opportunity that it possibly gets to shut the body down. So when he started to do the 4-6 breathing in his office, which I asked him to do, he started to fall asleep at his desk. And he said, that's counterproductive. I can't do that either. So the message I get from this response is that we have to start much earlier, and we have to get the body back into safety. We have to get him into a state where the breathing slowly supports his nervous system, because everything else would result in him not being able to work. And what I'm trying to say is that everybody is different and there is so much information out there, and it doesn't work for everybody. There is an explanation to that as well. I mean, in the medical world, they use what works for 70%, that's what goes out there into the pharmacies and into whatever social media or whatever. And the 30% where it doesn't work, it doesn't go out there. And that's the same with all these exercise workshops and stuff you get. Some simply doesn't work for you because you might be at a very, very different stage in your life. So what Martin needed was something consistent. He needed value for money, something practical that he can fit into his super, super busy, stressful week, something he could actually use in the middle of a stressful day and not just when life was calm. And that's what I gave him, step by step. We walked through short science-based steps and exercises, the core exercises in my holistic approach that we deliver in Body Wisdom 360. The core methods are breath, movement, tension release, and sensory activation. So we identified the problem, we put boundaries and strategies in place first that made him feel safe, and we did a lot of the breathing, simple desk movements, simple desk tension releases, and sensory practices, all from his desk to pull him back into a state where he can see the way forward, where he can see himself in the future again as a successful businessman, and when he's ready to retire, because that's also something I hear all the time. I can't wait until I retire. I'll push through a little longer before I can retire, and until then I keep my head down. That's not what we are as leaders. We are not putting our head down. We want to motivate, we want to engage, we want to bring new ideas to the table. But change management or implementing new ideas and motivate people requires a lot of strength. And and what my message is here, getting back to confidence, clarity, health, courage. You don't get there by doing a workshop or going on a 2-week holiday. If you are now stressed and you feel like Martin felt when he came to me, then short fixes are not your solution. Pills are not your solution. The body keeps score. Trust me, the body keeps score of everything we do. There's a little recording device inside, and this is never forgotten. And at one point, when it's too much, when the barrel flows over, so to speak, that's when you will be reminded of that. So the solution is not a once in a while solution, not when it is convenient. It has to be week after week, rope after rope, and to pull yourself back up again. And and so change is happening. Slowly things start to shift, and when you feel it, you get the motivation for it. When you feel that these very simple exercises and sharing thoughts, you will feel that all of a sudden your ability to see different perspectives comes back. Your ability to really laser focus comes back. Your ability to engage with others, even though their story is not yours and you can't relate, but engaging is good anyway, because if you're a team leader, you need to engage, you need to be there, you need to feel what people say and do and like to hear, yeah? So for Martin, slowly things started to shift. The physical pain eased. He stopped numbing himself every night and started playing games with his family again. And also what happened was that he he did go on a holiday very much in the beginning, which was blessing in disguise, really, even though he did not do the exercises in these 2 weeks. But I gave him an audio to listen to, so to train while he's on holiday, train his neural pathways on an everyday basis. And he loved it, and he came back, and there was so much improvement. At work, he is less reactive. At home, his wife and daughter feel him back in the room again. And they support him now too with the exercises, because they have seen where he was and where he is now. And they help him change, and that helps them to improve their physical and mental state as well. But most importantly, he realized the lie he had been telling himself, that quick workshops or a doctor's visit will not help him, will not help to fix his problem. Only consistent action creates real results. And the end result is Martin is back. He got his clarity back. His health is much better. His leg is okay. He feels more balanced, and he realized when he needs to stop before he spirals back into the same old again. So now I'm going to wait for the team to join, and I will stop the recording for a moment, and then I see you in a short while. So now here's, like I promised, here's my team, and Sarah, Iris, and Sophia. And now let's engage in Martin's story. And I would like to hear from you, what is your experience? What are your answers? What is your peace approach to helping clients? And yeah, just quickly back to Martin's message or Martin's story. Martin's story is very real. Martin's story is an everyday story. He is not the only client I have who comes to me and says, nada, can't go any further because I'm about to break. So Martin's story is reality, everyday reality. And in his case, he's a business owner, so he can, make the decision for himself to go out, look for holistic help. And he found me or us, and for holistic help, who really addresses his issue with having a huge toolbox available to help him and to not push him through another program that might not even fit for him. And but in the corporate world, and this is where I said in the beginning, I'm not talking HR language anymore, because I don't seem to reach HR, and what HR has to say doesn't reach me. And in the corporate world, mental well-being, mental health, employee well-being, and so on is so big, right? It's so big. But what we get is still the one-day workshop. It's like a retreat. It's like a gym membership or something people never go anyway, and things which have nothing, in my opinion, or not much to do with employee well-being and how to really address the issues we have today, where everything changes so fast that sometimes I can't believe it myself. I just read something yesterday and today it's already different. So, but we still get old, outdated approaches from HR or corporate, solutions, and we need to hard talk this a little bit. You need to have a hard talk to get a little bit further, and hopefully for some people. Yeah, so who wants to start with an example, or with how you would approach either Martin's problem, or what have you experienced in your own coaching business, and how do you think that body wisdom or the specific tools that we have in body wisdom. That means PQ coaching, physical intelligence, RTT, hypnotherapy is so important, executive coaching. How are you tackling your individual coaching with what we have on the table from the perspective of Body Wisdom 360?
I'm happy to start.
Sarah, please, yes.
And I wondered whether we could go from this picture that you've just created for us of what is actually happening out there in the world and in the workplace. And for me to echo that just for a moment at the beginning, to zoom me back to my experience working within a very stressful work environment. Because I think maybe people listening to this will relate to this idea too. And this idea of collective stress, and how when we have a workforce under pressure, whether it be, within an organization or within a department within an organization, that collective stress is so infectious. And we know about mirror neurons, and we know about, what's it called? Sabotage, contagion, where we feed off each other's stress as well. And I thought I'd start with that because I remember being in the workplace when that was such a very strong, overwhelming feeling. And it wasn't a toxic place, this particular place. It was not. It was driven by conscientious people who were very, very good at their jobs and were very overwhelmed, working at a pace, running down corridors, speaking really, really fast to each other. So we had to keep up with each other. And I think collective stress in a workforce is really, really prolific and very dangerous. And from that experience, I moved away and started to work on these kind of body wisdom techniques that we know that are associated with getting out of the head and into the body, to ground ourselves when all around us is like a hurricane, a whirlwind. So I just wanted to take that idea of the big picture and then zoom us in, if that was okay, Claudia.
Amazing. Yes, please go ahead. Or do you want to share a specific story, or shall
Yeah, I mean, I will mention that this was specifically within and just post-pandemic, and I do believe that the residue of the pandemic still continues. And obviously,
but how did you approach it at that point, Sarah?
yeah.
And
I did it by actually at that stage in my career, it was through mindfulness. So it was through mindfulness techniques and bringing stillness into spaces.
okay.
And it was extraordinarily powerful. And the results were very evident. People's breathing slowed down, and people's frenetic physicality around spaces slowed down a little. You could see people have more focus in their eyes because that glazed expression when you're really stressed and you're having a conversation with someone, but their eyes aren't focusing on you, was something that was all around us. So we brought mindfulness into the space, and that was extraordinary in creating almost it slowed time down for a moment amidst the chaos. So at that point, that was one of the most effective techniques that I used personally and took the lead on.
Okay, awesome.
I'll stop talking now.
Chris, can I ask you in the context of RTT, rapid transformational therapy, or hypnotherapy, how do you feel that when you work with people who come to you and who are burned out and who are so stressed that they can't move on, when you do your RTT sessions, maybe you have an example. What are the subconscious messages people like that are running on?
Yeah, happy to share. So first of all, the clients usually come to me when they are already overwhelmed, when they are at a breaking point, which means they usually are not aware of self-regulation, like with the Body Wisdom program, which is a very important add-on. So if you want to handle the stress, you need to have these kind of tools to also keep your nervous system calm and in balance. So when clients come to me, for example, I had one client and she was an overachiever, but she could not reach beyond a certain point. So she was really puzzled why that was. And in the end, it was a fear of her where she did not feel like she belonged and she was not enough. So the inner doubts were really holding her back. And that's kind of a reoccurring story with a lot of people, that they actually don't have the confidence. Something within them is sort of sabotaging them.
Correct. You're saying it out loud. Confidence and courage is what Sarah just recently spoke about. And it all comes down really to not feeling good enough, or to, especially the hyperachievers, like you just said, the imposter syndrome or whatever is related to this specific saboteur type. But, the next tap on the shoulder is all they need. They don't see their amazing own achievements anymore. The stress is just keep pushing them to move towards the next goal, towards achieving something better, higher, louder, whatever. It's not about money even. At least not in my experience. It's really about, yes, you've done a great job, well done. Now you've done this, now push a little harder, because now you can do the next thing even better, right? And people are not seen anymore for who they are, but they very often are, employers look at them like production machines, who have to chip out more work, and be resilient. And where does the resilience come from? Yeah, that's your problem, right? That's not part of my work scope. And this is what I want to change, because we have to have non-negotiable mental fitness at the workplace. We can't go on like that anymore. And mental fitness at work, in groups, like in small groups, like we do it, that's creating connection. That creates a sense of belonging. This is where I can share with you and you and you. Like I call Sarah or Iris and help, help! I can't do it anymore. I'm feeling like crying, or I feel like I reached that moments as well. But we have this group, we have this belonging, and we know how to let that ripple out into all areas of life. And now we are able to do that much, much faster. In the old days, it took me 3 months to get myself back into a stage where I could, Sophia, what is your story from your point of view, and also maybe from your age point of view in this context?
Thank you. I have so many thoughts about this. And I want to, the first thing I want to do is to echo Sarah, which is about the point that you made, Sarah, about mindfulness and the power of slowing down. So I coach from two perspectives. One, private clients that come to me and they experience much of what you described in your story, Claudia, and Iris, what you described in your story. These are people that know they need something different, so they reach out to a coach. I also coach within a large organization with people who are working through apprenticeships, who are looking to upskill their career. And I work with anyone from the age of 22 looking to kind of break into a career, to people in their 50s looking to upskill and gain new levels of relevance sometimes in their organization because they're missing technical skills. And one of the things I experienced there is these are people that are in high-powered, high-octane jobs under high stress a lot of the time. Also, the environment, at least at the moment in the UK, is a mad one, particularly in the technology industry, because there are pressures such as redundancies. If you look at the redundancy data across the tech sector, this is happening. It's a pandemic almost in the tech sector, that people are being laid off. So there's this collective stress that I really resonate, Sarah, what you were talking about, this collective stress for scaling your business because yours has to be the best technology out there, or the best product, or the best whatever. And then also that pressure that you can see in the industry. People are struggling, people are overwhelmed, people are under-resourced. And so when those people end up in my coaching room, it takes them 10, 15 minutes to just go from this talking and this is what I've been doing, this is what's happening, and this is everything I need to do, to just settling in their seat. And then I say to them, okay, we've arrived. You know, so dealing with people that aren't aware of what they're running on, they can feel the stress and they can see that their company, I mean, I know lots of companies who are very well-intentioned with their well-being offering. They're well-intentioned with they have access to therapists, one-to-one therapists in their organizations. They have access to well-being spaces. They do lunchtime yoga, things that we can understand as kind of body-mind connection activities. But then you have a caseload that's unmanageable, or a back-to-back day of meetings that starts at 8:30 and goes until 7. And there's no conversation around when. There's no championship of those things, and the responsibility falls on the individual. So from that perspective alone, I couldn't agree more with the need for championship and buy-in, and for the offering to be clear. We want you to spend time in spaces for you. And that's just as relevant to the 22-year-old trying to upskill in AI, to the 56-year-old who's head of a department at a huge multinational and is trying to figure out his relevance. Those spaces are just as important to both of those groups. And just to share an example from my world, I think often my apprentices that I work with, I have a unique way to relate to them because I'm outside of their organization. I don't work for their company. So I often hear things from them that they perhaps wouldn't say to their own leaders, or wouldn't go to their that wouldn't go to their organization with. I'm currently working with an apprentice. I assume that he is nearing 60. He is head of procurement risk at a huge engineering company, and he's just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And this conversation, and he seems from the outside and from his work that he's put into the apprenticeship and everything that I can see, he seems a very at ease, not overwhelmed, not overly stressed man, someone that's coping. If we put it that way, someone that's coping. But then you add a layer of health that tips things over the edge. Suddenly it's the one thing too many, and things start to fall apart. And I see and hear from him that the support that he's receiving for that isn't sufficient. It's not recognized in his workplace that he might be going through something emotionally, physically draining, acknowledged in his workplace that something in him is shifting to be able to deal with this new reality. And so for situations like that, even before it gets to the point where you're completely falling apart, the power of body wisdom for me is to be able to anticipate the shifts that happen in people and support them with those. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
I so want to jump in. Is that all right, Claudia?
Of course.
Because something that really
you can jump in.
Yeah, let's do this. Sophia, when you said about this man appearing fine, I think that part of what you said there especially really resonated with me. And as far as this this experience that I have with working with people, whether it be within leaders in my career prior to coaching, or within my coaching space, where they are hugely accomplished and their expertise is awesome in the true sense of the word. And they know how to perform the strong, courageous leader. They know how to come across as that. And I almost feel honored in a coaching space to actually hear what's beneath that veneer, that surface, and to see that human, and to just recognize that we are all those vulnerable humans, and the sensitivities are all there with all of us, no matter how well we mask them. And what has become increasingly evident to me is this idea of the more we armor up, the more we try and, continue to project this strength and this resilience in the face of adversity and challenge, how our health underneath is deteriorating. And we cannot sustain that. We are only human. And I don't believe that the systems or the structures are in place to support those people either. And you mentioned a specific health crisis, which I know sadly will be affecting a lot of people. But yeah, I'm very interested in this sort of the discord between the veneer and what is underneath, and how we as body wisdom can help that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just to come back to that apprentice for a moment, to that client for a moment, I'm not saying that I assume that his stress resulted in his health scare. And in fact, I'm not even saying that he's not coping well enough, or actually probably not feeling that stressed most of the time. He's a capable, calm professional, but the additional layer that came in. And I think this is also, Claudia, you brought me in because of the age question. And I think there is an interesting thing here to think about too, which is that a lot of the younger clients that I work with who are in their early 20s, they are much more open, they're much more readily able to share with me, I feel overwhelmed, I have imposter syndrome, I'm super stressed, my company's not looking after me, because there's a sense of what you can demand. The culture of conversation around mental health and mental well-being is louder, and people are willing to ask for more, or at least to point out what they're missing. Whereas the older generation, in the case of this client who came to me with his diagnosis and essentially said, well, what do we do? It was me who said, well, why don't we put this course on hold for you? Why don't we communicate with your employer? Why don't we instigate a break? And I don't know if he would have asked for that without the coaching space, because that veneer of strength that you just mentioned, Sarah, is in that generation is to keep your personal life outside of work, thinking also of Martin's story, to not bring what you're going through, whatever it is, to the workplace, and just to have it exist as two separate universes.
Yeah.
And so, and that part, there's always personal discretion. You don't have to air all your dirty laundry at work, but you have to have the opportunity to say, this is something I'm traveling through, and I'm not going to carry it in secret.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm conscious of time. We only have 5 minutes left, and I want to do at least a 2-minute PQ rep, like bringing us to a space where you can start your day and I can move into my next coaching session. But you said two very important things, Sophia. And one is the 56 or 60-year-old leader who is actually really stable and confident in his slow way of putting the horse in front of the cart and doing one thing after the next. That's how we are trained, and that's how you put your things away first before you start something else. And the young people, they are used to fast. And what's the next quick fix? What's the next solution I could apply? And building this bridge between this generation and that generation, the bridge is now somewhere here, and we want to bring that up, because the younger generation maybe has to slow down, and the older generation has to become more flexible. But we need the structure, and we need to walk over that bridge, give each other a hug and say, yes, we can do this. And we can only do this with mental fitness. We can only do this if we are slowing ourselves down on a regular basis. Because fact is, if you do stress, if you execute stress, if stress is what you do, then stress is what you get from your body. Because your body will respond only to that chemical, hormone, neurotransmitter that's consistently running. And our bodies have forgotten how to use those neurotransmitters, hormones, and and actions and habits which keep us calm, which give us the opportunity to reset. So if I don't train that, forget it. We are not able to reset. Full stop, story told. So
Can I jump in on one small thing?
we have 6 minutes left, but one small thing. Yeah.
One small thing. I just wanted to return to Iris, what you were saying, and the leveling you were just talking about the generations, is that one of the powerful things that I see coming out of the engagement with the subconscious mind and RTT is really understanding the beliefs that the different generations run on.
That's true.
Because they're at odds. I guess I can see it within the organizations that I work in, that the conversations are happening from two different places of belief, and there's a vacuum in the middle. So even being able to create the awareness of the beliefs you run on and the beliefs that others run on, and sharing that in a group coaching session, and just imagine the power of that, of being able to say, oh, wow, my perspective, my stress comes from this place and yours comes from this place. I just wanted to say that.
And I think, thank you very much, Sophia. And I think that's the subject for our next Heart Talk. What people are really running on subconsciously, what people are really executing every day subconsciously, and why people think that hypnotherapy is something where we magic out their bank account number onto our computer and then go and buy ourselves a Porsche, which is not the case, right? And there is a lot of misinformation about hypnotherapy and how powerful that healing process is. I use it mostly, I combine it with coaching, and it's mind-blowing. And now we have 1 minute left, but we go over maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And I would like to invite you, before we all go and say goodbye to each other, I would like to invite you to a quick body wisdom exercise. Please settle into your chair and put your feet on the ground. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes. If not, maybe just gaze onto something in front of you. And with your feet on the floor, feel the connection to the surface below. And we start now with taking 3 deep breaths, deeper than usual. Breathe in and out, and every time you breathe out, you let go of any tension you might feel in your neck or in your hands and arms, maybe in your tummy, your back, your legs. Another deep breath in through your nose and out with a sigh. One more last time, take a deep breath. And let go. Everything. All negative thoughts for a moment. All the stuff on your to-do list just for this moment. And now I would like you to bring your fingertips to your forehead, just where your hairline is, and feel the difference of texture between your hair and your skin. Feel how exquisitely sensitive you are there. And slowly move your fingers over, down to your brows and over your eyebrows. You keep breathing really calmly and slowly. And you feel this sensation in your face, on your fingers. Move on to your eyelids. Feel your eyelashes. Move further down onto your nose and your cheeks. Feel the difference in temperature, the difference maybe in texture, the different surfaces and move further down under your nose, and you feel your breath on your fingers. Touch the part of your lips where the skin turns into your lips, a different texture. When have you done this the last time? Move down to your chin and up your jawbone, all the way to your ears. Hold your ears for a moment and rub your ears. The sound you hear, the difference of surface, the highs and lows on the surface of your ear. And move your fingers all the way down your neck into your lap. Put your hands in your lap again. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And one more time with a sigh. Let go. Come back to the room. Come back into your day. Let this ripple out into all areas of your life. I have really enjoyed this session with you. It was awesome, and all the best, and see you soon. Lots of love. Ciao.